Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and you know I always go into depth on products here on the channel, but I'm going to make an exception today for this one. This is the Ematic 7-inch Windows tablet that I bought at Walmart.com for about $60. It's now on there for about $70 or $80, so the price must go up and down based on promotions that they're doing or whatever. But here's the problem, because everyone's going to want to upgrade their tablet to Windows 10, which this will certainly let you do. But once you do that, the touchscreen gets completely out of whack. So you can see here as I'm tapping on this side of the screen, that little dot that's flashing down on the other side of the screen is where the tablet is registering my finger. It's completely out of alignment. There is no way to realign it because I can't even get back into the tablet. It's a driver issue that I've seen on other tablets like this that typically is solved with a driver update. However, nobody from Ematic is getting back to me as to where to find that driver. I'm getting caught in a loop with their automated service robots that they have on a Zendisk ticketing system. I'm going to show you that in a second. So completely useless right now after you upgrade it to Windows 10, and I fear that a lot of people are going to buy these or already own them and upgrade them to Windows 10 and have something completely useless. It worked fine in Windows 8, but once that upgrade was done, it was unusable, as you're seeing right here. I just can't get into even unlock the device because I can't get my finger in the right position. So be warned. Now, I will talk a little bit about the hardware because if it did work, it wouldn't be so bad for the price. It's a 1024 by 600 IPS display. It looks very similar to the display we saw on that $50 Amazon tablet. I wouldn't be surprised if these are being made in the same factory overseas, in that it really does look and feel very similar to that device, at least as far as the display is concerned. However, on a Windows tablet, it's running below like the Windows target resolution of like 1200 by 800. That's typically the minimum for these things. So it's actually scaling that resolution down to this display. It looks kind of weird when you're in there, especially when you have small type. So it's not the most ideal reading platform, but on larger things like you're seeing here with the login screen, it does look fine. And of course, the touchscreen just doesn't seem to register anything. There is an SD card slot here on the back. That was how I was able to upgrade it to Windows 10 because it only has 16 gigabytes of onboard storage and 1 gigabyte of RAM. So it is on par with other sub $100 Windows tablets we've seen out there. And as we've seen in the past, it actually could run it pretty well if, of course, you could get into it. There is a camera on the back here. I would test that if I could, but I won't be able to. There's a power switch here, which is self-explanatory, a headphone jack here. The USB port is for charging and also doubles as an OTG port, but of course right now we've got power plugged in to charge it up, and we have the volume rocker here up and down for adjusting the volume on it. So really pretty much a big disappointment. Now, I want to show you what happened when I reached out to Ematic. Now, there is no way to call them. They don't give you a phone number to reach out to them at. There is simply a trouble ticket system that you log into to file your complaint with them. So I, about a week ago, filed this ticket. They do promise a response within 24 hours, which did happen. So what I did is I wrote in and I said, hey, I've got this part number. I did make a mistake here by referring to the Windows 8 upgrade. Now, what happened, though, is I didn't put in here factory data reset device. This was put in automatically by, apparently by their Zendesk ticketing system. So it looked for certain keywords in my request of them and tried to come up with a solution. So I get this response back pretty quickly from Ria here, who says you can reconfigure your device to its factory default settings by, getting into the charms on the right side of the screen, blah, 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 which is not applicable to Windows 10, of course, nor could I even get to the charms because of the issue I have with the screen not registering my finger taps in the right place. So I responded back and I said, hey, let me explain to you again. After installing Windows 10, the touchscreen isn't working properly. Can you get back to me? And as you see, 5 days ago is when I posted that, and no one has touched that ticket since. So what I decided to do was fill out another ticket here. So I created it with the right problem this time, saying it was a Windows 10 problem. And once again, I am getting the same response, this time from Elzon. And again, I wrote back and said, hey, can you guys actually respond to this question? And unfortunately, after 3 more additional requests, I'm not getting anything back from them. And because I gave these folks the benefit of the doubt, I actually ran past the return period that Walmart has for this. This is like a 14-day return period on this. It's like 2 weeks or certainly less than a month. So they were initially not even going to give me a refund on this. I was going to be stuck with a brick. I complained a little bit more, kind of pushed back a little bit, and they relented and agreed to give me a full refund on the product, which I will be doing tomorrow. But again, just really poor practice here that they have a customer service place that really doesn't have the capacity to respond. They're selling tablets very inexpensively at volume to America's largest brick and mortar retailer, and they are not equipped to deal with the customer service issue issues that arise from that, as we can see. In fact, if you look at the difference between when I filed this ticket and that one, there's almost 500 or 600 additional tickets that have been filed in just the 7 days that I was filing my thing. So I suspect that they are way behind on responding to people, and you will not get a response out of these folks. Another thing to be concerned about on here is the warranty length. It is only 90 days. So if something happens beyond that initial period, it might actually take them 90 days to get back to you with a real live human being. So if you have a problem after 90 days, you're pretty much on your own. They will give you the parts for a year, but the labor is certainly going to cost much more than the parts will, especially when you're repairing something like this. So it is kind of a disposable product, and unfortunately, a lot of folks are going to be very disappointed once they install that Windows 10 update, which these things will be nagging them to do, and they'll have an unusable device with really no support and no way to return it. So I would strongly suggest keeping away from Ematic. And I'm going to be focusing a lot more on warranties moving forward, especially from non-name brand products or name brand products with short-term warranties. And what's happening now is these warranties are getting shorter, and the retailers are pushing these extended warranty packages on you also to try to make even more money off the transaction, which I don't think is a good practice either. So we're going to keep an eye on this, but in the meantime, do not buy the Ematic Windows 7-inch tablet. This is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the generosity of my Patreon supporters. If you find the channel helpful, you too can contribute for as little as $1 a month. Visit Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more.